so close, and yet sometimes it feels like you're so far at the same time. But yeah, you can definitely just smell it and you want it really bad. But you also got to stay where you are too, otherwise you get too caught up in that.
Welcome to episode 308 of Alberta Dugout Stories, the podcast. I'm Joe McFarland. Winter has arrived, and it seems like it's not going anywhere anytime soon. Luckily, we still have plenty of baseball to talk about, so let's get to it. Big congratulations to Dogs Academy and Okotoks Dogs alum Matt Wilkinson on being named the Canadian Baseball Network's Wayne Norton Award winner as Affiliated Pitcher of the Year. We've talked ad nauseum about his numbers, but Tugboat was outstanding in the Cleveland Guardian system this year, starting in Single A before ending up in High A, helping Lake County captains capture the Midwest League Championship. Baseball Alberta is handing out its awards this weekend in Edmonton. As we've talked about in the last few weeks, some of the awards have been announced already. Among those who have been named in the last 7 days, Pacey Phillips of Neutral Hills receives the Carl Linden Bursary. Cohen Jorgensen of Leduc County gets the Bob White Memorial Scholarship. Zalea Downs of Edmonton has been named the Ted Rudd Minor Coach of the Year. And longtime Edmonton umpire John Oko has been inducted to the Umpire Hall of Fame. We'll have a full rundown of all the awards in a story on our website next week, and are lining up a few guests for an upcoming podcast episode. I'll also be in attendance for this weekend's Little League Alberta Coaching, Training, and Leadership Conference in Calgary. I'll be heading up a seminar on media and social media, then serving as MC for the annual awards gala and dinner Saturday night. I'll also be looking to have a full story and rundown on the show next week. Let's head over to the Western Canadian Baseball League now, and a couple of pieces of news for you. The first is the naming competition for the Edmonton Prospects is now live and online. With their move to MyShack Metro Ballpark in Spruce Grove for 2025, they thought it would be a good time to start a new era. You can go to nameyourteam.net to submit your ideas. I know Ian did, and I've added my 2 cents. We'll call it 1 cent because it was only one idea that I submitted. And I hinted on social media that I tell you my thoughts here on the show. So here is that one name that I put in, the Parkland Spruce Moose. In speaking with Pat Cassidy a couple of weeks ago, he said he's hoping to see something that reflects the capital region, maybe an ode to the lumber industry. So with the ballpark being in Parkland County and specifically Spruce Grove and Spruce Trees, the first two made sense in my head. And then I like rhymes, if I'm being honest, and the Spruce Moose seemed to lead to a bunch of different branding and logo opportunities in my mind. You might like it, you might hate it. If you have a good idea of your own, again, the website is nameyourteam.net. The deadline is December 3rd. A short list will be announced shortly thereafter, and fans will be able to vote for their favorite. And the other piece of news from the WCBL is the Brooks Bombers naming their new head coach. He's Dylan DeBrouwer, who has coached at a few different schools down south, including the Westmont Warriors of the NAIA. DeBrouwer is also a certified strength and conditioning coach. On the commitment front this week, congratulations to Patrick Ludvigs of Dogs Academy as he's heading to Barton Community College, while teammate Preston Toshnick is going to Panola College. Over at Badlands Academy, Bryce Fitzgerald is going to Peru State College, while Rylan Caplet is heading to Highland Community College. And the ATHX Red Hawks softball team has announced Janica Evans Anderson is going to Simon Fraser University. So congratulations to all. If you have some commitment news you'd like to share, make sure to tag us on social. We're also rolling out some of our recent conversations around commitments as part of our 1 through 9 series. The first one came out earlier this week with Vauxhall's Hudson Kozicki, and we'll be doing that weekly heading into the Christmas break and likely beyond. On the professional baseball front, it could be an interesting couple of weeks for Vauxhall Academy grad Damiano Palmagiani. He's been left off the 40-man roster for the Toronto Blue Jays, meaning he will be left exposed for December's Rule 5 draft. That doesn't mean anyone will take him, but it is surprising given that he led the Blue Jays minor league system in home runs with 21, despite spending some time on the injured list. Now, he did struggle with his batting average, so we'll see what other teams think of his toolkit in the not-too-distant future. On to this week's guests, and we'll stick in the pros, starting with Dogs Academy and Okotoks Dogs alum Tristan Tristan Peters. He made the jump to AAA this season in the Tampa Bay Rays organization, hitting .238 with 12 homers and 46 RBI in 123 games for the Durham Bulls. He also became a regular on the Plays of the Week in baseball thanks to some spectacular catches in the outfield. Peters will be looking to make the final step to the big leagues in 2025, and as we found out in a conversation late last week, that path is looking to include some winter ball in Venezuela.
Tristan, thanks so much for joining us back here on the show.
You got it. Thanks for having me.
Hard to believe it's been basically a year since last time we caught up and got to do this. A full season in AAA is now in the books for you. How are you feeling about your performance after 2024?
Yeah, so I'm feeling pretty good. I liked my power numbers were a little better, more home runs. I walked a little more. There's still a lot to be worked on. My average went down a lot, but I think there was a lot of experimentation this year, just stuff with my swing. I was learning a lot, learning how to deal with failure. So in that aspect, I think performance-wise, like stats-wise, I'm not super happy with it. Like it's not terrible, but definitely a lot to build on. But I learned a lot about failure and how to deal with that. I got to talk to a lot of experienced guys that have played in the major leagues, and yeah, just that. So the experience was great. I think one guy, Rob Brantley, he was always my roommate. He got 2 years of service time. I just liked picking his brain. He's just such a great guy, and just people like that, it was great to be around, and I think it'll help my career in the future as well.
Going from AA in 2023 to AAA in 2024, was it what you expected heading in?
Um, to an extent, yeah. Pitchers were better at locating and stuff like that. I didn't think some of the pitchers had better stuff. You're facing big league pitchers sometimes. I just think the game it is faster than it is in AA. I think it's a pretty tough level, but at the same time, it's the same game. But I hear that jump's not cool. I mean, the biggest jump is from AAA to the big leagues. So I think it gets you well prepared though for the big leagues, and yeah, it's almost what I expected.
Mhm. What was the biggest learning curve, I'll call it, taking that next step up?
Yeah, I mean, just as I said before, just the dealing with the failure, you're gonna fail in this game, and just not taking it so hard. I'm pretty hard on myself, and I know a lot of players are. You kind of have to be at a certain way, but you can't let that consume you, and just not making it my identity either. Um, and rather focusing on things outside of baseball too, because it's not the most important thing. I might, if I'm lucky, might only play till I'm 40 years old, but yeah.
Absolutely. I know we've talked a lot about the bat. I do want to talk about the glove as well. You made yourself into the highlight packages on more than one occasion, and if there's land, Tristan Peters seems to cover it. It seems to be the term. Talk about the pride that you put into your defensive side of the game.
Yeah, I really enjoy the outfield, a lot more than I thought I ever would. I always was an infielder growing up and in high school here in Okotoks, and um, yeah, my manager Morgan Ensberg, he always tells us to treat every rep in practice, serious as a heart attack, he says, and so I try to take that into my practice in the outfield and hitting, obviously. But then the time in between too, you're supposed to have fun. So I enjoy having fun. But then in the game, we worked a lot on first step this year being first step quickness. And because the Rays have found that ranks number one, speed is number two, third one is break accuracy, I think it might be. Um, but so I focused a lot on that, and I found that just really focusing on the batter and kind of expecting the ball to come to you is the most important part to get that first step quickness. And I think that it really helped me this year. And also just not being afraid to take risks. I remember we were in Charlotte, North Carolina, and my outfield coach, he was like, just take more risks. Like, who cares if you drop it? Like, you've got other outfielders there with you. They're covering. So I did that, and I think I made one of my first diving catches of the year there. And then from then on, I just was like, I kind of had that mindset of just taking risks. Who cares what happens? And and a lot of good happened from it too.
Was there a play or a moment this season where you looked back at the highlight after and went, I can't believe I actually pulled that one off?
Yeah, I think that would have been one of my first ones. Like some people called it the Superman catch.
Mhm.
That one was an early part of the year. I just remember running. I've made some similar to that one, but I felt like I was running a lot faster that time, and I never have stretched so far out in my life. So I was pretty shocked. I'm like, I like to watch it back, and I'm like, wow, I mean, it was such a cool feeling.
How much doubt do you have in your mind being in those situations where you don't want the ball to get by you, especially something, say, if it's down the line, for example, it's not like you've got a guy behind you. How much of it is risk versus reward in the moment for you?
Yeah, I mean, I feel like for me, I'm pretty good at determining whether I should risk it. It depends on what the game is at, like what the score's at, how we're looking, like are we good? Are we the bat's hot? Or yeah, and just the score. And if we're way ahead, then I don't mind taking a risk. If we're way down, I don't mind. Then I might not. I might take a risk to stop the bleeding. But if it's a close game, I'm like, well, okay, there's nobody covering me. I'm gonna play it safe. Unless I know I can catch it 90% of the time, 85% of the time.
Mhm. So the season ends, exit interviews are had. What's the tone of the conversation for you coming out of Durham?
Yeah, they want me to work on just getting stronger, trying to hit for more power. That's their biggest thing. Just hit drive the ball a little more consistently, which I think that's important. And but another part I don't want to lose either is my contact ability, and um, still I want to limit strikeouts. So that's my personal goal. But I do want to definitely drive the ball a lot harder and more often. But I also am playing a little bit with my grip on my bat and seeing if I can get a little more extension, a little more whip out of it. Um, because I have done the weight room part, getting stronger, like they want me to. So I'm just trying to find that next edge in that area without sacrificing too much.
It's funny, you and I kind of talked about this last year a little bit, and I made a joke about it off air. Was it's not the bat this year, right? Because last year
Right.
you hit a hot streak after you got a good bat for you. But it's interesting how the littlest nuance or the littlest detail can sometimes make such a big difference. How challenging is it
Hmm.
to strike that balance, to your point, of making a small adjustment without sacrificing something bigger on the other side of the spectrum?
Yeah, I mean that's a big part of it. I worked a lot on there were a lot of mechanical things we worked on this year, and maybe I would argue that maybe there was too many things we worked on, and it got overwhelming. But sometimes it's literally just the smallest fix, like where your hands are on the bat, how you're gripping the bat, where your foot is. Your foot's like or your hands are too high or too low, like they're an inch too low now, or something like that. But it's really just the littlest things, and I find it's mostly mental. Um, but I think people can get in the way of themselves by focusing too much on the mechanical movements of a swing. We all got to this point because we have good swings, and a lot of it is just hit the ball. Timing's everything. Um, but yeah, it's often little adjustments, and as baseball players, we don't feel good every day, so that can also affect it too. But yeah.
So your season might not be done yet. A little birdie, aka Tristan Peters, let me know that he was looking for an opportunity to play some winter ball. Where are you going? And talk about the mindset about wanting to continue playing versus, in many cases, a lot of guys will say, "Listen, I need a couple of months to just chill before spring training starts."
Yeah, honestly, I was very opposed to winter ball in the beginning of my career, my professional career, just because I'm like, why would you want to play? We already play 120 games, more than that even. But I mean, I found at the end of the season this year, I was like, man, I don't really want to stop playing, and so I wanted to get some more at bats. I think it's cool to experience another culture too. The plan is to go to Venezuela to play for the Puerto La Cruz Caribes, I think they're called. Um, just waiting on my visa right now, seeing if that all works out, and then hopefully flying up there soon. But yeah, I just wanted to experience a little different atmosphere too. I know they love baseball in those Latin countries, so I'm really excited for that and just to learn some more things about the game.
It's interesting your journey because, going from Winkler to Dogs and then, even your journey to college and Savannah with the Bananas, and you don't seem you're not hesitant at all by any stretch to try out different things and expand your horizons a little. Talk about where that comes from because it's sometimes not natural to move, down the street from your parents' house, let alone, basically
Yeah.
live out of a suitcase for the better part of your adult life so far.
Yeah, I've always just kind of been like that. I mean, ever since I went to Okotoks, I'm just used to being on the road and living out of a suitcase. Yeah, I think that's just become part of my life. It's almost not normal for me to be in one spot, which is more challenging now too, though, that I'm married and hope to have a family in the coming years. It's more challenging for sure. Now I've got somebody else along with me, but I enjoy it, and we both enjoy it. It's just there's definitely the stresses about it, but I like to say yes to opportunities. If there's an opportunity that's going to present itself, I don't want to miss out on it. Obviously, evaluating how I am doing, like physically, mentally. But yeah, I like to jump into things and yeah, see where it takes me. It's kind of fun to not know what's going to happen at the same time. It's also stressful, but yeah.
So when it comes to Venezuela and a baseball playing perspective, are you working on anything in particular that, is it minor adjustments? Is it letting the adjustments maybe try it for a little bit longer versus maybe the speed that you had to do it when you're in AAA?
Yeah, I think just results don't matter to me as much in Venezuela as they do during the season because they matter a lot when it comes to making decisions for the organization, whether I'm going to be a big leaguer or not. So I think I want to go in just not caring too much about results and just getting the right feel and then seeing maybe if they produce good results, then I carry it into the season. Like, for example, I want to grip the bat a little more lightly, be a little more slow, get to the high pitch a little better this year. Um, See if I can't get some more power out of that because a lot of pitchers these days are throwing the ball up with that carry. So getting on top of the ball is a big thing. Just working up to down in the zone. That's one thing I really want to work on. And my manager in Venezuela, he's big on that too, hitting the high pitch.
You kind of alluded to it, is you're a stone's throw away from Tampa Bay and the big leagues. Can you smell it? Can you
Mhm.
taste it? Is it right there for the taking in Tristan Peters' mind?
Yeah, I think so. It is for everybody in AAA. I think it's you're so close, and yet sometimes it feels like you're so far at the same time. But yeah, you can definitely just smell it, and you want it really bad. Um, but you also got to stay where you are too, otherwise you get too caught up in that, and you lose sight of like other things, and then your results, or I should say, like your career just kind of goes down, and you can't focus on it too much. You got to be just present where you are. I think that's the most important thing.
What do you got to do in your eyes in 2025 to make sure that you're at the top of the pecking order with the Rays, whether it's staying with the big squad straight out of spring training or being the first one they call heading into the first few weeks of April and May?
Yeah, I think it's just proving to them that I can hit for more power while not sacrificing too much of my contact abilities and just being more consistent in that area too. Um, and not wavering mentally too. That's definitely the hardest part. And then also outfield wise, I just want to stay kind of where I'm at and maybe increase my speed a little bit more, maybe steal a few more bases this year. Just challenge myself and not be so afraid to get thrown out or something like that, and just be more confident, I think is a big thing for me. I think that'll set me apart from my other years.
Mhm. Couple more for you here. You're back in Okotoks, at least for the time being, as we record this. You've been able to work with some of the guys and see what they've been up to from an academy perspective. What's been your message to those young kids who are maybe one day hoping to be in your shoes?
Yeah, I mean, I did an interview recently in Okotoks for the Dogs, and I just said, I think you gotta love the game. Otherwise, you're never gonna be able to play. We play so many games now. If you don't love the game, it's going to expose you. I know it has me in times that are hard. You have to love the game to get it through it. I said in that interview too, I love the game even when I hate it, if that makes any sense. But yeah, sometimes it's that you're gonna have rough patches, so you gotta love it and just be able to handle that failure, accept it for what it is, because everybody fails. I mean, you look at Aaron Judge in the World Series; he didn't have the greatest. He failed. I mean, Freddie Freeman, he didn't get he didn't get a hit every at bat. You're gonna fail. It's the best do, and that's the cool thing about this sport too. Is like you're, and it just teaches you some really good lessons in life about failure. And I think if you can't handle that, it's going to be tough to play if you don't love
Absolutely.
it.
Absolutely. It's going to humble you and it's going to
Oh
teach
yeah,
you and it's going to humble you
oh
in
yeah,
no specific order. So,
no
on
doubt.
that note, one final one for you, Tristan. I've asked you does baseball mean to you a million times, so I won't do that to you again, but I will ask this. How excited are you to get going in 2025 and potentially get that call up to the show?
No, I'm pumped. I mean, I this whole off season I've just been excited to train just for the next season. I just want to play so bad, and I'm excited to go back to Venezuela just so I can play again because I do love the game. And yeah, I mean, Durham was a sweet spot too. I don't mind being there. Obviously, I want to be in Tampa, and news just came out that they're going to be playing the Yankees spring training this year, so that's different. That would be an interesting first experience to the big leagues, but yeah, I mean, my goals are set high. I'm really excited. Um, yeah, I think it's going to be a fun year.
Absolutely is. Well, Tristan, always a pleasure getting to catch up with you. Congrats on
Yeah,
all the successes of 2024. All the best in
thank you.
2025 and beyond. And again, thanks so much again for joining us here on the show.
I appreciate it. Thanks for having me.
Next up is another Tampa Bay Rays product who is just getting his feet wet in the pros. Grand Prairie's Tyler Herron has had an interesting path in baseball, including St. Albert minor baseball, then heading to the U.S. for high school ball, then was a star at Parkland College before spending this last season at Illinois State, where he hit .328 with a homer and 17 RBI in 35 games. The 21-year-old was expecting to transfer to Louisville to up his chances of getting noticed in the next draft, but instead had already gotten the attention of the Rays, who signed him to a free agent contract right after this year's draft, even making his high A debut with the Bowling Green Hot Rods. Here's our conversation with Tyler Herron. Tyler, thanks so much for joining us here on the show.
Absolutely. I appreciate it. Can't wait to be here.
Take us back to July. You don't get picked up in the draft, but you're about to sign a pro deal. Did you know that that was even in the cards at that time?
Yeah, I kind of had a pretty good feeling. For me, I had a strong feeling about the draft too. I talked to some teams throughout it, kind of leading up to it too. Talked to my junior college coach, Anthony Silkwood, my head coach, obviously at ISU, Steve Holm. Like, I kind of had a good idea that I thought I was going to get taken at some point. And again, the MLB draft is the most unpredictable thing in North America. So you have absolutely no idea what's going to happen. And then I did make it very clear to teams that I was willing to sign for pretty much anything. I just wanted to get my foot in the door and start my professional baseball career. So I wasn't a big, huge number guy when it came to money and things like that. I didn't really care, and I made that very well known. So I think for me, part of that too was the Rays. I talked to the Rays since the fall at ISU. Actually, even probably junior college, I was talking to the Rays, and I probably got a call 30 minutes after the draft. I kind of knew once the draft ended, I was going to get a couple teams call me. And as soon as the Rays called me, I felt pretty good about it. And obviously talked to my parents and let it sit for a couple hours. But I knew what I was doing once the draft ended.
What made Tampa stand out to you? Was it just the longevity piece, or was there something else there to it?
Honestly, I think rankings came out like a month ago for minor league systems, for example. They're ranked like the number one minor league system in all of the MLB. And that alone, like they've always had that reputation. They don't go buy the huge free agents. They don't pay guys $300 million. So I knew getting a free agent opportunity from the Rays, they develop their guys. It's a whole lot different than say the Yankees or the Dodgers. They just kind of buy their guys. So I knew with the Rays, how homegrown they are, that was a perfect organization for a guy like me.
What goes through your mind when you talked about like you knew that there's something percolating, but then you see the contract and know all you have to do is put your name on it? What's rolling through your mind in that moment?
I mean, it's a dream come true. It's still I've been a professional baseball player for a couple months now, and I still don't even feel like it's real. Like you look at that paper, you walk around the building, you see all the signs, they give you the clothes, you put on the Rays logo, whatever it is. I'll be 35 years old, hopefully playing in the show, and it still won't feel real to me.
Speaking of playing in the show, have you let those thoughts kind of percolate in your mind now? Like, hey, now the easy part's done kind of thing, and now it's time to get to work?
Yeah, you really try to push the big leagues off and all that stuff because obviously right now it's not even close to being realistic. Like this is a marathon, not a sprint. So obviously when you sign, you get the contract, you can kind of think about it, get a big head for a second, but as soon as it's time to get to work, you kind of know how to put that stuff away and focus each day in and out because again, a baseball season is 150 games in the minor leagues, so you need to take it one day at a time. So no, I'm not really thinking about the big leagues or anything like that right now. It's pretty much just what I'm doing.
We'll get into some of your expectations for yourself in a minute. I want to go back to signing that contract. It gets official. It's all over social media. What's your phone like in that moment?
I mean, it's blown up 100%. And again, from sometimes people that you haven't talked to in a very long time. And it's another one of those things where it doesn't feel real when people congratulate you and whatever it is and ask you about the raise and stuff like that. It still is, it's the little kid in you that's coming out that you're like, to be able to say that you're a professional baseball player is a damn good feeling. So it's the little kid in you coming out for sure.
I can only imagine. So, that being said, I know in talking to different guys, whether it's being drafted or signed, the next couple of days, next couple of weeks are absolute blurs because you got to go through physicals and you got to travel from here, there, and everywhere. What was it like from Tyler Herron's perspective?
So I think what did I do? I was in Ohio at the time playing summer ball in the Great Lakes League, and I got offered the on the third day of the draft. And the following Monday, I was planning to fly out to Port Charlotte. So I had about 4 days to go home, see my family, kind of celebrate a little bit, and then quick turnaround Monday. You fly out to Port Charlotte. I think I got in at 4 o'clock in the morning, got into my apartment, and then at like 7 in the morning, I had to be at the facility. You do your contract, all your paperwork, get that stuff out of the way, and then you go with the trainers, you do all your physicals, everything like that. It takes a couple hours, and you have meetings with the hitting coaches, the catching coaches. You get to know everybody. Then after that, your first day is done. You get a lot of stuff knocked out of the way in your first day, and then the second day kind of looks roughly the same, just more meetings, talking to people, trainers, all that stuff. But it's the 48 hours it takes from the time you get there to everything after that. It's a very crazy time.
I can only imagine. Then you finally get into that pro suit. You're suiting up with Bowling Green for the game there. Did you have that welcome to the pro moment? Did you have that time where you're just like, oh, this is gonna be, to your point, a marathon, not a sprint?
100%. I mean, like for example, even being in high A and looking around the room, there's some older guys in there. Like I was looking around, some guys are 25, 26, even a 27-year-old. And to think that like not knocking high, but it is high A. It's not like it's triple A where you can be 27 on the cusp or whatever it is. So that was a big thing for me looking around, kind of understanding like I am only 21 years old. I have time. This doesn't need to go absolutely perfect right off the bat. Just kind of do what you've done your whole life and just relax and play baseball and have fun and don't get caught up in it trying to move up a level, what people are saying, anything like that. But that was definitely a huge moment for me was noticing that there are some older guys and it is going to take time.
How much does that little taste fuel that fire for 2025 and beyond?
Oh, it was unbelievable because like to first when you get the call, I'm laying in bed at 11 o'clock at night, and when you're in the complex, it's different. You have early mornings, whereas when you're playing at an affiliate, it's you all have night games. So I was ready to go to bed at 11 o'clock at night, and my complex manager called me and he told me, "Hey, you're going to high A. There's a catcher that just got hurt. Be here at 7 in the morning with all your stuff packed, and they're putting you on a flight." And that I didn't sleep that night. It was a very long night packing up all my stuff, but then you get there and you see what pro ball's like and the building, the atmosphere, the people and everything. Like it's what you absolutely crave. It's what's in your blood if you're a professional baseball player. And like knowing that that is what it's going to be like for a whole year of your life. Don't get me wrong, there's going to be some walls you hit because it's such a long season, but knowing that that's what you get to wake up and do every day is it's such a good feeling.
I'm glad you brought up the thought about like you're gonna face failure and you're gonna
Mhm.
face those challenges. Have you mentally prepared yourself for the different jumps and that kind of stuff? Because even, and I'm sure you can attest to this, is you go from complex league to high A, there's probably a difference in what you're seeing, especially as a catcher.
Oh, well, for example, I caught Brody Hopkins when I was got promoted to high A, and they told me we had a meeting before the game or whatever, the pitching coaches, and they said Brody Hopkins is a huge challenge to catch. He throws 100 miles an hour. He throws 22 inches of movement on his slider at 91 miles an hour, and he's got some of the best spin and best stuff in our organization. So they said this is going to be a huge challenge for you. And again, right off the bat, like complex, don't get me wrong, there's a ton of talent everywhere, but when you're catching a guy like Brody Hopkins compared to catching just either newly signed guys just getting back into it, complex guys, whatever it is, it's a whole different range. So understanding both sides of the ball, obviously hitting is going to be a challenge every single level you go, but the catching too, really taking advantage of the guys you catch, learning what they do and understanding how they do it and learning them as a pitcher as well is going to be huge for when you move up certain levels, move down certain levels, whatever the case is. So you can know these guys for in advance too.
How difficult was it to catch that? Like when you talk about, whether it's the vert distance or the like, it's one thing to catch 100, but it's another to catch it with some movement, isn't it?
Mhm. Yeah, no, I mean it's especially your first time catching them. It's very difficult. I'm not gonna lie. You got to really lock in, and every single pitch you can't take off, or you're gonna probably get 97 off the mask, which isn't fun. But the more you catch these guys and the more you get to know them, the more you get comfortable. And after a while, you can get comfortable catching 98. It just takes some time and knowing your guys and knowing what their spin does and stuff. But the first time catching them usually is a bit of a challenge.
I always love the videos with the overlay where the pitch comes out of the hand the exact same way. It looks exactly the same, three-quarters of the way to the plate, and then all of a sudden one drops off and the other one doesn't. How do you prep for something like that? I'm always curious with catchers because they've got such a unique vantage point for a game, and particularly pitch by pitch. How do you manage that in your head, knowing that the last pitch looks exactly the same as this pitch, but they're going to break completely different at the last second?
Well, that's the fun part about catching is you get to kind of control the game and knowing what your guy's stuff does. That's how you set up hitters, and you can see it better than anybody in the ballpark. So you can set guys up with fastballs and then dip a changeup off it or a breaking ball off it, whatever it is. So that's honestly one of the funnest parts about catching is setting pitches up, making them look the exact same, then having one dip off.
Let's talk about 2025 for a second here. Do you have any goals or expectations of yourself going into the season?
Expectations, I don't have any. I again for me, it was just getting my foot in the door and being a professional baseball player. Now it's time to kind of take that and run with it. I just want to show up every single day and be available every single day. I want to take care of my body. I always want to feel healthy. I want to take care of the little things so that nothing is hindering my playing time except obviously for something that's out of my control. I want to be available 24/7 no matter what for any team, any whatever it is. That's pretty much my only goal is just being available all the time.
What are you working on in the off season to get you there?
Everything, man. You can nitpick one or two things, but to be honest, when you get going, you're trying to do everything. You're trying to be as consistent as you possibly can because 140 game season, if you can learn to be consistent with certain movements and certain things, it's going to get you through the tough times and just go with the good times. But yeah, honestly, just being consistent with all of my movements.
Absolutely. Let's get into your baseball past a little bit here, Tyler. You're originally from Grand Prairie, which was where we're chatting with you from now. How'd you get into baseball in the first place?
I was probably my parents told me this a couple weeks ago. I was probably 2 or 3 years old, and I had an older brother that was like 3 years older than me, and my dad was coaching him at the time on his baseball team, and they were sick of leaving one kid at home, taking one to the baseball field. So my dad just gave me a glove and he said, "You're going to come play on your brother's team." When I was like 3 years old, and from there, I never stopped. I picked it up. I loved it. I managed to fit in and with the older guys and was able to play up all the time on my brother's teams and stuff. So that for time I was 3 years old, I've been playing baseball.
Were you a multi-sport guy growing up, or was it all baseball all the time as soon as you got a mitt on?
Hockey in the winters, baseball in the summer. I was a hockey freak growing up too, so I know both sides very well.
Give us a scouting report on Tyler Herron, the hockey player.
Well, I was a forward for most of the time. I played a little bit of defense, but hockey for me, I didn't really take it serious. It was more about having fun with my boys, killing time in the winter, play like being competitive, you name it, the hotel rooms, the swimming pools, the bus trips. That was what I played hockey for. It was just to honestly just have fun with my boys. But baseball was a little bit different. I took baseball obviously lot more serious and had goals and things and wanted to work at and get better. But the side of hockey for me, it was just go have fun.
Was there a moment for you on the baseball side where it turned? Because as a kid, you're playing for the fun of it. To your point, you're playing up, so you're having fun with the older kids. Was there a point where you went, okay, maybe I've got a future in this. Like maybe I need to take it next level.
Yeah, I noticed obviously when I was probably 10 or 11, I was getting to be a little bit better than everyone at baseball. I was better at baseball, my kids my age or whatever. So my parents took me, my brother down to a camp in Texas, somewhere in Dallas, I think. And my parents at the time didn't tell me, but they kind of were using it as like kind of a almost a scouting report of like, is he actually good or is he just good for Grand Prairie? Because don't get me wrong, tons of people here think they're really good at something, but when you get out on a bigger stage, you realize really quick that there's a lot of people out there. And so I happened to go to Texas when I was probably 11 or 12. I ended up doing really good. It was a big, huge camp or whatever. I think I got MVP or something like that. And then I had one of the coaches, or there was a scout, believe it or not, scouting for 12-year-olds. He contacted my dad once we flew back home, and he ran a AAA Dallas Mustangs team or whatever. So he offered me and my family to come play on that for the next, I want to say 2 or 3 summers of my life. I was flying up for a month at a time, going to Texas and playing summer ball at like 12, 13, 14 years old. And then when I got to be 15, that's when I moved away. But yeah, that's pretty much it.
Very cool. You got to play provincially here in Alberta with St. Albert, and you got to play a bunch of different things here. Any particular highlights of your days playing ball here in Alberta?
In Alberta, highlights, I mean, that's where it started. I mean, I remember playing games in snow. That's a highlight for sure. That's probably the best part is not having to play in snow anymore. But honestly, like thinking about playing baseball here, it's such like a home core memory for me of my buddies. I still got buddies for life that I played on the same baseball team with. Like honestly, the hotel rooms, the bus trips, the swimming pools, like I said with hockey, it's the same thing. But when you're 10 years old, that's everything to you. So that's like here, just it's such a home good feeling for me.
Your first post-secondary stop was at Parkland. What did that program mean to you and your development, not just as a ball player, but as a human being as well?
That meant everything to me. That completely changed my mindset on so many things because I got to the point where I was getting to be really good in high school and stuff and going back and forth from Texas and then living in Edmonton. And again, I thought I was really good at the time. And then you go to college, it's another test. It's like, well, am I really good here or am I going to be good in college? And you get to JUCO and realize that in junior college, it's not a Division 1. You don't have the crazy cool funding, the cool logos, the cool anything, the meals, the crazy fields, whatever it is. So for me, I learned how to be very, very humble and understand where I'm at and where I come from. And I use that for the rest of my life. And Parkland means the absolute world to me for it. I had really good coaches there as well. Anthony Silkwood, he taught me an unbelievable amount. And before that, it was John Goebel. I only had him for a semester though, but I still will talk to him for the rest of my life. But my coaches did such a good job at showing you what it's like to be at the bottom so that when you're at the top, you can stay at the top. And I think that's the biggest thing.
You went up another level this last year, going to Illinois State. How'd you feel about the experience there and what you were able to take away from it?
It was good. I mean, Division 1 sports are Division 1 sports. It doesn't really matter what it is. And for me, it was awesome. I was originally committed to K-State for a while, and that kind of fell through when I was going into the draft league. And so right away I had to figure something out. And when I talked to Illinois State, I had two buddies from my Parkland team going there and talking to the head coach. He caught in the big leagues. I thought, you know what, this seems to be a great fit. It's right down the road from Parkland. Went to Illinois State and I loved it. It was obviously Division 1 program. I wish we could have won a lot more games. And obviously there's times in the fall that Division 1's a lot different in JUCO and the rules and the care hours, whatever it is. So there's some things that don't obviously go the way you want them to, but for the most part, my Division 1 experience was pretty good.
You and I were talking off air about this, but it was a crazy couple of months leading into you even signing because you had gone on social and said, "Hey, you know what? I'm going in the transfer portal." You had another school in mind, and then you signed. What was it like in your mind going through the trials and tribulations of what was probably crazy 2 or 3 months there?
Well, I'll tell you, when I first hit the transfer portal, the next 6 days, I came to my dad's office at 8 o'clock in the morning and took phone calls from 8 in the morning till like 4 o'clock in the afternoon for the next 6 days straight. It was nonstop talking to coaches, talking to people, getting offers, whatever the case was. But like I'm telling you, I was sleeping 2, 3 hours a night from how busy your life got. And then it kind of quieted down a little bit because you kind of start to understand. You make a final 4 or 5 schools and you keep talking to them. And then after that, um, Louisville was one of the later schools that actually reached out as well. And I got advice, as I was telling you off air as well. I got advice that you want to catch a staff that's a really good staff that's going to have scouts coming to games, a first round pitcher, whatever it is, and they're going to have a first round guy this year. So going and playing for Coach Mack, catching a really good pitching staff in the ACC for me, it was kind of a no brainer, especially with the offer that I had. So that's kind of how that decision was made.
Very cool. What do you see as your, I'll call it ceiling, but what do you see 5 or 10 years down the road when it comes to your baseball journey?
Got to be a big leaguer, man. I mean, 5, 10 years from now, like if you're in professional baseball, that's got to be your goal is to be a big leaguer. And there's honestly nothing less that you can think of yourself and nothing more. Like you can't go ahead and say you're going to be a Juan Soto Hall of Famer and like that's a crazy take. But just to say that I'm going to be a big leaguer in 5 to 10 years, I think that's just as simple as I can put it.
How crazy is it to think that just a few months ago you were going in the transfer portal and here you are, rocking the Tampa Bay logo on your hat?
Yeah, I mean, it's still, like I said, it doesn't even feel real. And I don't think it will for a while. So,
Mhm. A few fun ones for you before we let you go, Tyler. First off, what's your favorite baseball movie?
ooh, favorite. I'm going to go Moneyball.
Very good one. I actually watched that not that long ago, so great one. What's your walk-up tune?
Ain't no mountain high enough, believe it or not. It's been that song, all of JUCO. I had a couple 50 Cent songs that I'd mix in and out, but I had Ain't No Mountain High Enough during the draft league as well. And some of the older people in the stadium love it. So that's what I'm sticking with from now.
Very cool. And finally, as a catcher, you're kind of like goalies to a certain extent, and goalies have a lot of superstitions. Do you have any
Mhm.
superstitions?
No, believe it or not, I don't really totally believe in that stuff.
Wow.
I don't know. I know the whole goalie thing too because I played hockey. Some of them are absolute weirdos when it comes to that stuff. But for me, I got nothing pretty much. Just go out and play.
When it comes to the planning and preparation piece, so you kind of alluded to it earlier, what's your process like? Do you have a specific process that you like to use when it comes to getting ready for a game day, chatting with your pitchers, getting to know what's working, what's not, so you do bring your A game every game and bring your pitchers A game every game?
Yeah, for me, I've always been a guy. I get to the stadium first if I'm catching that day every single time. I love to just be in the building, be around the environment, be in the locker room, get my clothes on, my workout clothes, whatever it is. I like to be there as early as I possibly can so I have zero distractions. I don't have to think about when I'm going to get to the stadium, whatever the case may be. So for me, get in there as early as I can and honestly just keeping it light, talking to your guys, goofing around, whatever it is. You got to understand your pitcher too. If your pitcher's a guy that he's a crazy psycho freak that likes to be quiet, then leave him alone. But for the most part, guys are pretty easy going when you first get to the stadium. But for me, I just like to get there as early as I can.
Very cool. A couple more for you here. Let's say you're back in Alberta, you're talking to some of the young kids around the pro complexes, and they're wanting to get to where you're at now. What are those words of advice or those words of wisdom that you might want to offer them so that they can get to maybe where you're at now?
I mean, it's pretty simple. If you want to go out and get it, like for me, I had to move away at 15 years old to go play in Edmonton, and that was a huge decision for my family. And it was not all sunshine and rainbows at the beginning either. Like you got to go through some hardship, but if you really want this thing, you got to go out and get it, and just don't let anything stop you.
Fantastic stuff. And the final one we ask everybody here on the show, what's a game of baseball mean to you, Tyler?
Everything, man. It's my life. It means everything.
As simple as can be. Well, Tyler, really appreciate you taking the time. Congrats on all the successes over the course of your young career, and on signing in Tampa, and continued success heading into 2025 and beyond. And again, thanks so much for joining us here on the show.
Absolutely. I appreciate it. Thank you very much.
Thanks again to Tristan Peters and Tyler Herron for joining us this week, and thanks to all of you for downloading and listening. If you like this or any other episode, make sure to leave us a rating and review to help spread the word about ADS. As mentioned, we have a few more episodes planned before the year is up, so now is a great time to subscribe. As always, a tip of the cap to our Platinum supporters, the Western Canadian Baseball League, Under the Lights Sports and Entertainment, and the Okotoks Dogs for their incredible support and generosity in helping us tell the game stories in our province. We'd love to add to our roster in 2025, so if you're interested in learning more about sponsorships, email us at albertadugoutstories@gmail.com. Until next time, thank you for all of your support online, on social, and on air of Alberta Dugout Stories.